Donald Trump's terrible lawyer-turned-spokesperson, Alina Habba, I guess that's what you would call her at this point, had an absolutely brutal appearance last night on Fox, where she spread so many lies, so much disinformation, and at one point she didn't even know what she was saying, and she accidentally offended the Fox host by complaining about a piece written by somebody at Fox that was in the Washington Post. It was incredibly embarrassing. I'm going to break it all down for you. My name is Brett Meiselas here with the MeidasTouch Network. Remember to hit subscribe right now. Help us get to 3.5 million subscribers. First, I just want to acknowledge the fact, let's pull this picture up, that Alina Habba and Melania Trump are looking an awful lot alike these days. I'll let you be the judge of what that exactly means to you, but you see they're kind of wearing similar outfits. Their hair is the same. It's like she's trying to look exactly like Melania. I think that's a little peculiar, but let's move on to what she was saying on Fox News. Alina Habba was spreading a lie that there were babies floating in the water because of the hurricane, and she was complaining that Vice President Harris is on podcasts while babies are floating in the water. The problem here, that's not true at all. That's complete, total lies and disinformation. And even Martha McCallum at Fox pushed back on that. Watch this.
Western North Carolina got hit really hard. And like you said, these are real people with real issues. They don't need a $750 handout for a press headline. They need help. They need water. There are still people missing. There are babies floating in the water. And we're on podcasts. That's what the Harris team is doing. So I think what Cedric's doing is completely irresponsible.
Where did you see that report of a baby floating in the water?
We have absolutely heard there are children floating. There's missing bodies, dead bodies. We know that. There are dead people. We're up to 250.
32.
Yeah, 32. Thank you. So this is the problem. It's not misinformation, it's fact. And to talk about Katrina.
And here's how sick that was. I believe I know what she was referencing, and it's because I spent too much time online and seeing what people in the MAGA universe are posting on social media. I'm assuming it was this photo, which is a fake photo, an AI photo of a young girl in a life vest holding a puppy in the water on it looks like a boat or something during the hurricane. This is something that numerous MAGA influencers like Glenn Beck and others posted. It went viral on Twitter. It went viral on Facebook. It's a complete lie. It's a fake photo. It's AI. And I believe that this is what Alina Habba fell for. So either she is unable to tell the difference between real and fake, or she is just lying. Either way, I think she's unfit to be in a position of power and telling people what's going on with the storm, if that's the case. Let's move on. Here, Alina Habba offends Fox. She starts to trash an article suggesting that Trump should use Nikki Haley on the campaign trail because it's from the Washington Post. So she wants to be like, oh, look, the liberal media, the Washington Post. And then Fox host Martha McCallum does a fact check on her and notes that the article is actually written by a Fox contributor. And you see in real time Alina Habba start to change her tone. She's like, oh, oops, I didn't know that. Watch this.
Polling. And one of the questions that is being asked today by Mark Thiessen of the Washington Post has to do with Nikki Haley, who we're going to talk to in a minute. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Mark Thiessen writes this: Trump should deploy her to key battleground states for the next 4 weeks to convince the reluctant but persuadable 18% of the electorate to cast their ballots for him. Failure to do so would be sheer political malpractice. It could very well cost him the presidency. That's Mark Thiessen writing a column for the Washington Post. What's your reaction to that? Is that going to happen, first of all?
I'm not going to speak to what his plan is, but WAPO is pretty rich to be giving President Trump advice.
Well, that's Mark Thiessen, who's a contributor here at Fox.
Okay, but yeah. Well, all I can tell you is this. We are all for anybody who's trying to save America. And Nikki Haley, if she's on that camp today and she's willing to come out and help save America, God bless, let's go. Because we are in a state of crisis. We have seen people come out, actors, actresses, that know that it'll hurt their career and support Donald Trump. We are in a state of crisis.
She said she was standing by and happy to help.
Love that.
Was a few weeks ago.
Love that.
But you don't know if there's any plan at this point.
I do not know of any plan at this point.
All right, Alina.
You know, this feels like a good opportunity to go through some of the past statements made by Nikki Haley about Donald Trump. You know, when she wasn't afraid to tell the truth back in the day during the primary. Remember when she was speaking about the trillions of dollars that Donald Trump added to the debt? Watch this.
I don't care about polls. What I care about the fact is that no one is telling the American people the truth. The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us too. When they passed that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill, They left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars. It's not their dollars. And while they're all saying this, you have Ron DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all voted to raise the debt. And Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt. And our kids are never going to forgive us for this. And so at the end of the day, you look at the 2024 budget, Republicans asked for $7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House.
Vice President. I remember when Nikki Haley said that if Trump is the nominee for the GOP, that we will have a President Kamala Harris. Well, she didn't realize how right she was at the time. Watch this.
And if Donald Trump is the nominee, mark my words, we will see a President Kamala Harris.
Governor, thank you.
Or what about when Nikki Haley months ago said that there is, quote, no way the American people are going to vote for a convicted criminal?
I will also tell you, there is no way that the American people are going to vote for a convicted criminal. They're not.
Nikki Haley was asked about these statements yesterday. In fact, somebody asked her, like, you're apparently supporting Trump right now, so do you not believe all the things that she said about him in the past? Here's what she had to say about that.
During your most recent campaign for president, you remarked, quote, in politics, the herd mentality is enormously strong. A lot of Republican politicians have surrendered to it. Of course, many of the same politicians who now publicly embrace Trump privately dread him. They know what a disaster he has been and will continue to be for our party. They're just too afraid to say it out loud, end quote. Now that you have suspended your campaign, you have frequently downplayed his impact on your party and has even gone so far as to offer yourself as a surrogate for his campaign. My question to you is this. Would it be fair to categorize you as one of the many politicians who privately dread him, who know what a disaster he has been and will continue to be for your party, and are you just too afraid to say it out loud?
So, thank you for that question, Matt. What I have said since the election, since what happened, I said everything that I said on the campaign trail, I stand by. I said it because I believed it. I said it because I was telling the truth to everyone.
I recently gave my father-in-law MD hearing aids and I saw him over the holidays. He was hearing me so much better. This podcast is sponsored by MD Hearing. MD Hearing is an FDA-registered, rechargeable hearing aid that costs a fraction of what typical hearing aids cost. MD Hearing's Neo model costs over 90% less than clinic hearing aids. The Neo fits inside your ear so no one will even know that it's there. Plus, MD Hearing just launched the Neo XS, MD Hearing's smallest hearing aid ever. MD Hearing recently cut their price in half. That means you can get high-quality, rechargeable digital hearing aids for only $297 a pair. My father-in-law has been so much more engaged with our conversations now that he has the MD hearing aids. He's way more vocal in a positive way, and it's really brought the family together. He's been using MD hearing aids for a while now, and he swears by them. MD Hearing is just as good as premium quality hearing aids. $297 for a pair of hearing aids this good is crazy. Edward S. calls MD Hearing the best hearing aid I have used at any price. Robert P. in Texas said, these are the best hearing aids that you can buy. Simple to use, durable, and better than hearing aids that cost 10 times as much. MD Hearing was founded by an ENT surgeon who saw how many of his patients needed hearing aids but couldn't afford them. He made it his mission to develop a quality hearing aid that anyone could afford. MD Hearing has sold over 1.9 million hearing aids, and they offer a 45-day risk-free trial with a 100% money-back guarantee, so you can buy with confidence. Still on the fence about MD Hearing? Well, they were just selected to be the hearing aid supplier for top Medicare Advantage plans, so they're a brand that you can trust. This holiday season, get the hearing you deserve with MD Hearing. Go to shopmdhearing.com and use promo code MIDAS to get a pair of hearing aids for just $297. Plus, they're adding a free extra charging case, a $100 value just for listeners of the MeidasTouch podcast. That's shopmdhearing.com mdhearing.com and use our promo code Meidas and get a pair of hearing aids for just $297.
That's just what I don't get about the spinelessness of somebody like Nikki Haley, because we know there are groups like Nikki Haley voters for Kamala who are out there getting votes for Kamala Harris. We know that there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Nikki Haley voters who are going to be voting for Kamala Harris because they want to stand up to Donald Trump. So why can't Nikki Haley herself have the backbone to do it? That cowardice is just absolutely embarrassing to me. And it just shows you that she only wants to do things when it is politically convenient. And I think that's a disgrace, honestly. Even though she's saying the things that she said yesterday, I think it's just a total disgrace. Let's go back to Alina Habba. Alina Habba here, I guess, wanted to downplay Hurricane Katrina back in the day, and then started spreading a lie, it sounds like, that Donald Trump had given people electricity and other things. Like, once again, just total lies. Watch this.
Thank you. So this is the problem. It's not misinformation, it's fact. And to talk about Katrina, well, I'm really glad you're dealing with your trauma from Katrina, but we have problems happening now. We've got to deal with things now. And I think Governor DeSantis is doing exactly what you should be doing. But frankly, that should be coming from FEMA, like you said. That should be coming from the top. And what he's doing is a great example for the country. What President Trump did, getting in there, using the money, using his resources to give them things they need. Electricity, power. You know, that's the things they need. There are children.
Then Alina Habba mocked the $750 in immediate assistance people were getting. Remember, that's just one bucket of assistance in addition to a whole lot of others, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions and millions of dollars worth of assistance that is being provided for these storms. But Alina Habba called the money that people are getting a handout by the government. Watch this.
You said these are real people with real issues. They don't need a $750 handout for a press headline. They need help. They need water.
Habba then said that while Hurricane Helene was going on, Vice President Harris thought it was more important to go on a podcast about sex. She's talking about Call Her Daddy, the podcast that Vice President Kamala Harris was on. And by the way, this is not even a true timeline of events. This is also a lie. In fact, Vice President Harris was scheduled to go on Call Her Daddy when the storm was hitting, and then the storm hit. She canceled the appearance to focus all of her attention on the storm, and only when she knew that the full weight of the federal government was dealing with it did she do that interview. And this is well chronologued, and Alina Habba just continues to lie. Play this.
It's very simple. Let's talk about facts. Cedric's saying there's misinformation. Let's talk about information that is undisputable. While Helene was happening, Kamala decided it was more important to go on a podcast about sex, Call Her Daddy. When Helene was
the Harris Walls campaign, they sent on Cedric Richmond onto Fox, onto Martha McCallum's show, that same show, to correct the record about the many lies that were being spewed on the program. And Richmond, addressed the fact that Fox continues to try to compare what's going on with this response, which has been a highly effective response in North Carolina and other states to Hurricane Helene, to Hurricane Katrina, which everybody knows was a complete and total disaster. And Richmond tries to explain to McCallum that this isn't like some sort of game. This isn't about sound bites. This is real life. And I just want you to watch how Martha McCallum just continues to interrupt him over and over and over again as he's trying to deliver the facts to the audience. Watch.
The government fund local government efforts
money,
to,
sir. They
to
had
pick up
people
trash.
Who are missing. I talked to a family yesterday. Her mother is still missing, and we lost more than 230 people have died in this situation. And I'm listening to Governor DeSantis talking about the pre-positioning of all of these assets, Black Hawk choppers, all these things that are ready to go. And how do you respond to that? Why wasn't that the case with Helene?
If you give me a chance to answer, I will. There were assets pre-positioned before Helene, and that happens in every storm in coordination with FEMA and others. And look, what we won't do is play tit for tat because this is too serious. I watched 1,500 people die in Hurricane Katrina and Rita. So this may be cute, it may be a soundbite for you, but this is real life. And what we have to do is make sure people understand that okay, we're not gonna interrupt each other. So
go ahead. I just let you
answer. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that people understand that there is aid out there. There's aid for you to apply for. We're going to help with recovery. We're going to help rescue people. You saw the National Guard out there. You saw the Coast Guard out there rescuing people. That's the federal government coming in to help cities and states. And we're going to be there for Florida when this happens. And so when you talk about pre-positioning of electrical line workers all the way from California to Florida. That is the federal government and others stepping up to help. And that's how it happens in these hurricanes. But the misinformation that can be dangerous is when you don't provide people with the information of where to go get resources, how to apply for FEMA aid, how to safely dispose of your debris. All of those things are critical. And what we should do is make sure we're giving out accurate information.
Yeah, well, we've been doing that all week, and we have spoken.
And then Martha McCallum doubled down on her lies, saying that it took a week for FEMA to get on the ground, or asking why it took a week. And Richmond's like, it didn't take a week. That's a lie. It's a total lie. Watch this.
Neighbors are helping neighbors, and that there's a lot of efforts that are underway, but it still begs the question, why did it take a week for FEMA to get on the ground? And during that time, we did see a lot of campaigning going on. So it raises questions about who is callous in this situation.
Well, thank you for having me. Let me just correct something first. It wasn't a week before FEMA got on the ground. Second, I lived through Hurricane Katrina and Rita. And after devastating storms, it takes a moment to reach everybody where they are. And what communities do is they don't wait on government. They start to work. But what this administration has done has already spent hundreds of millions of dollars in aid to victims of the hurricane. And what you do is FEMA sets up a hotline. People start to apply for immediate cash funds. And then you see the government fund local government efforts
need money,
to,
sir. They
to
had
pick up
people
trash.
who are missing. I talked to a
It's just shameless lies all day on Fox. And I know I did another hit on Fox in general, but I thought it was important that we focused in on that segment with Alina Habba, who is just spewing these lies day in and day out on behalf of Donald Trump, coming directly from Donald Trump, these lies. It is disgraceful. It is beneath the dignity of the office, and honestly, any office in the country. I don't care how low or high that office is, and it is dangerous, especially in times of crisis, and these people should be utterly ashamed. But it's important that we know what these people are doing and that we spread that shame around so that people are aware that the lies are coming. Because if you're not aware of it, you could be hit with this deluge, with this flood of lies, and you could fall into that trap. But we are prepared, and we are countering it with the truth. Me, you, the whole team at the MeidasTouch Network, all of the Meidas Mighty out there. So help us continue to grow. Help us get to 3.5 million subscribers here on YouTube. Check out our new Substack at MeidasPlus.com. We're doing a lot of ad-free content there if you subscribe, and we got a ton of subscribers right there right now. We're writing some really good pieces, releasing some really interesting ad-free videos there. So go check it out, MeidasPlus.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram at MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.